everybody, my name is Kenny Wayne Shepherd. I'm here today to talk to you guys about my brand new album. It's called How I Go. Yeah, so we started the process for this record. The writing process began about 3 years ago. We were kind of working on a leisurely kind of basis in between doing shows. You know, we had gigs, and then I've had 3 kids in the past 4 years. And that's been keeping me busy. And so in between all of that, you know, whenever we'd have some downtime, I would go to Nashville and I would write with the people that I've been writing with for years, you know, and so that happened over the course of about 1.5 years. And we wrote over 30 songs for the new record, which I always generally tend to do for albums. I write way more material than necessary. And then we go in and we start tracking it, and the best stuff always tends to rise to the surface. So about 1.5 years ago, we started recording, and we went into the studio, and we did that also on a real like laid-back, leisurely basis. We went in for 2 weeks, and then it was like 2 months went by before we went back in the studio again. We had shows and, you know, personal life and whatnot. So, and we did it like that, you know, a couple weeks here and there, and then, you know, not for another couple months before we went back in the studio. That process, I haven't done any records like that. We used to bang out albums. I would go and write for like a month or two, and then go right in the studio and record for a month or two, and then mix it and hit the road, and then come back and do it all over again. This was the first time I'd done it like this, and I actually really liked it because you know, there wasn't a sense of urgency, and we got to really live with the material for long periods of time. So we'd go in, do the basic tracks, rhythm tracks and stuff, and live with the song and really like analyze it and go, well, what do we need to do to make this better? And then when we went back in the studio, we had a firm game plan of what we were going in to accomplish, and it kept everybody nice and focused. This record, we did most of it at a studio called Studio D in Sausalito, California. We used to record all our albums up at the record plant in Sausalito, but now the record plant is no more. And what we would do is we would do all the basic tracks and stuff at the record plant, and then we would go to Studio D up the road, and we would do all of our overdubs there. And Studio D essentially is just an exact replica of the B room from the record plant. So it has a really great drum sound. It's a big room with high ceilings and stuff. So it's a great sounding room within itself. And so since the record plant didn't exist anymore, we went to Studio D, did all of our tracking there, and then we did some overdubs at Jerry Harrison's personal studio. Jerry produced the record. This is his like 5th or 6th album of mine that he's produced, and you know, we have a long history together, and it was a real pleasure working with him. I feel like Jerry has a real in-depth sense of who I am as an artist, what this band does, and what we do well. And you know, he knows when we can do better, and he also knows how to push people's buttons to get certain performances out of them. So it's always a pleasure working with him. And but yeah, we did it mostly in Sausalito. We did some tracking at a studio over in Los Angeles as well at one point. And we also, man, in the middle of it all, we cut like half of a Christmas album. So we got to go finish that up, and then maybe we'll have a Christmas record of cool rock and blues tunes to put out in the future.